I'm going to recap and review the Giants game against the Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, which apparently have been regarded as the worst team in the NFL. I don't know how, because we exist and other teams exist that have worse records. I mean, the Raiders are now 4-5. Are they the worst 4-5 team in the history of NFL? I guess so. You wouldn't know it by Sunday's game. When I did my preview for the Raiders game, Jimmy Garoppolo was the quarterback, and he sucked on Monday Night Football, overthrowing Devontae Adams multiple times. For whatever reason, the offensive coordinator wouldn't call running plays with one of their best players, a top running back in 2022, Josh Jacobs. And Josh McDaniels was still the fucking head coach. All that changed almost right after I recorded and published. It was like, Josh McDaniels is fired at 1:00 in the morning. Holy shit. GM is fired. Offensive coordinator is fired. Move on from Jimmy G. They bench Jimmy G and they start rookie quarterback Aidan O'Connell. And former New York Giants linebacker Antonio Pierce is now the head coach. O'Connell's a 4th-round draft choice out of Purdue. Once, I think a lot of the older Giants fans like myself, the Clem Report, once you hear that combination of things, it's like, we're fucked. Like even if we're getting back Daniel Jones, Andrew Thomas, Evan Neal, we're screwed. That is too much going against us. Like we saw it last year with Jeff Saturday and the Colts, not necessarily against us. It wasn't against us, but first game, win, because it's just a change in juju. The Raiders players apparently loathe Josh McDaniels, and for good reason, because he sounds like an asshole, but maybe he's not. I don't know. So it's like, it's just too much going against us. I didn't even know this stat. Giants are 0-3 against teams playing their first game after an in-season coaching change. Mwah. You know, I knew that we had a poor history against not just backup quarterbacks, but like 3rd and 4th string quarterbacks. We just can't figure them out for whatever reason, even though it's like there's a reason they're that far down on the depth chart. Was I shocked or surprised that we got off to a slow start and then we just got, and it was just a pummeling through and through? Not really. I wish I could say different. I mean, if Josh McDaniels is the head coach, if Jimmy Garoppolo is the starting quarterback, if they still have the same offensive coordinator, we win. I feel like we for sure 1,000% win. But nope, all that happened. Normal logical thinking would be like, oh, you know, and a lot of the younger fans probably were like, we're going to run all over them. We're going to crush them. And I'm like, the old heads like me are just like, you know, there's a little thing called history. I think the most disappointing of all is not Daniel Jones. It's the defense, for sure. I think that was, if I'm surprised at all, it's like the defense really just did not come to play. And maybe that's a case of like Leonard Williams was a bigger loss than we thought, not just on the field where he probably is helping out, taking some heat off of Dexter Lawrence, opening holes for the linebackers, etc. But just as a teammate, you know, obviously Dexter Lawrence loved this dude and they were good buddies. And so losing him, maybe he's not at the top of his game psychologically, mentally, emotionally. And then maybe that actually transitioned to the whole goddamn defensive unit because they look slow. They look lost. They looked like apathetic, and I mean, it was just like from the very first drive, the Raiders just kind of like had their way with us to the point where they could basically run every single down for an entire quarter and a half, just about, and no worries. Like they had no issue with that. Entering the game against the Raiders, the defense was on a roll. We recorded takeaways in 4 straight games, held 4 of our last 5 opponents to under 300 yards of total offense, allowed a total of 134 rushing yards over the last 2 weeks, surrendered no more than 14 points in 3 consecutive weeks, and then 30, just a 30 burger on us. Like it seemed like every drive ended in a score just about. Yeah, that's the most disappointing for me because it was like, I get... You know, you could say like, well, once Daniel Jones goes down, that's it. It's over. But like, how many games have we seen this defense? It almost didn't matter who was playing quarterback for us. I mean, we almost we should have beat the goddamn Jets basically on a defensive performance. Should have beat the Bills based on the defensive performance. If it was just not for that last drive, if it was not for the last drive against the Jets, we almost lost it against the Commanders on the last drive. But like our offense wasn't doing a whole lot against that Commanders team in the second half. So it's like we've seen them outperform and be able to withstand the pressure over the last 3 weeks. And for them to just come out and like, it feels like they kind of rolled over. And the offense put them in really bad positions. I get it. But like 10 of the points the Raiders scored came off 2 turnovers. So it's like, all right, you want to like say, take away those 10 points. The defense is really responsible for 20. Still higher than what we're used to. Not that it would have made too much of a difference, although I don't know. I, in my preview, said that I think the Raiders need to run more. Why don't they run more? They have Josh Jacobs. They should run more. Our run defense stinks. If the Raiders were smart, they'd run the ball, and they fucking did. Jacobs ran for a season-high 98 yards and 2 touchdowns, while receiver Jacoby Myers added a 17-yard touchdown run. The defense did not record a sack. 4th game this season in which we did not have a sack. We finished the game with just 1 quarterback hit, and that was from Micah McFadden, who, according to PFF, is a goddamn all-pro. And, I agree that Micah McFadden is playing better this year than last year. I think he's passed the eye test that way. His numbers would prove it. But in the same time, it's like, how are we getting gashed then? What a conundrum. We did not have a takeaway for the 5th time this season. This is the 3rd game this season in which the Giants had neither a sack nor a takeaway. And I think this is probably one of the worst games that defense has played. Dexter Lawrence, Nacho, and Ashawn combined for 10 tackles, 5 solo. Xavier McKinney led the team with 10 tackles, 7 solo. It seems like Xavier McKinney is on the outs, which is just making comments after the Leonard Williams trade. He made comments earlier. It just sounds like he is saying that the leaders aren't being heard. He's a captain, I believe. And then Andrew Thomas comes out and is like, no, I think we have pretty good communication with the staff. And Daboll's like, yeah, I mean, we have positive conversations every week. I think, it's the contract, right? He didn't get the contract extension in the offseason. It escapes me how we didn't trade him along with the Dory Jackson at the trade deadline, because Dory Jackson, and not to make light of it, he did have a concussion, but got hurt again. This guy's like plagued by injuries. It just feels like it's the neck, it's the hand, the wrist, the leg, the hamstring, so it doesn't, honestly, I can't see us resigning Adoree Jackson. And if you can read the tea leaves, my man, doesn't seem like we're going to re-sign X-Man. So why didn't we fucking trade them? And I get it. Maybe you think, we're getting all our starters back. We need our defense. We can't just completely gut our defense. We still want to win games. We still want to be in the playoff hunt. We still think we're capable of it, given the schedule that we have coming up with our offense getting back to 100%. I don't know. That seems like a Gettleman thing. So that's been a major topic of discussion, is like, should Daboll and Shane be fired? People saying you can't do this every 2 years. That's just not how you create stability. Of the coaches and GM combinations that we've gone through this carousel over the last how many years, where it's 2-year stints, McAdoo, Judge, Shermer, Daboll, and Shane are the best, right? Of that grouping. Not saying a lot, but it doesn't mean they're not without mistakes. They've made a lot of mistakes this year. A lot. And maybe they did make a lot of mistakes last year, but we were winning. So they get covered up, right? Offensively, DJ played for a quarter? I think he started the second quarter. That's when he got hurt. Completed 4 of 9 passes for 25 yards. He ran twice for 9 yards. The one run he did pick up the first down, I thought was pretty cool. Getting past Max Crosby, I think. But throwing the ball, he was just so inaccurate and just did not look good at all. So overthrew Barkley, underthrew so-and-so, almost threw a pick. So, I mean, I don't know. We like to think, we're getting back the Daniel Jones that we had. Like, he had some time to think in his time off. He's going to come back and he's going to be 2022 Daniel Jones. And it's like, yeah, I don't know that's in the cards. So I honestly thought when he went down and was out for the game, I was like, I think this is like, because I remember someone saying that the neck injury, the new neck injury means, okay, it came out that he's not 100% pain-free, right? So that came out later in the week and everyone started freaking out about it. It's like, why? Wait, so he was cleared for contact before the Jets game, didn't suit up or play in that game. But he's going to start in this game, but yet he's not 100% pain-free. Again, which NFL player isn't, but he's also had off for the past 3-4 weeks, however many games it was. So I realized, I was like, this is too many neck injuries, and I thought the worst, which is what I do. And so I didn't think that when he went back to pass, wasn't hit and fell down, on the replay, it looked like his left foot was like dragging. And it was almost like his left side just stopped working. Like he lost power to the left side of his body. That's what it looked like. And I remember the reports being like, well, he's got his left side. He's either losing feeling in his left side, or there's a lot of pain in his left side. I think it was losing feeling. And so that looks like, wow, the left side of his body shut down. He has no electrical signals there. You can't control it. And so literally he's half a person. Like he's going back. His left side stops working. He drags his left foot. He falls down. It reminded me of when Sting came back to the WWE, and he's like, I don't know, 60 goddamn years old, wrestling against like friggin' Seth freaking Rollins. Might have been WrestleMania, SummerSlam, a big major main event. And he just like literally just bounces off the ropes and comes and tries to run towards Rollins and can't make it to Rollins. Like he literally falls to his knees and falls on his face because his body just stopped working because he's had so many injuries and he's so old. I guess he's still wrestling in AEW, which it blows my mind. Because I would be like, after that, it's like, I think I'm just gonna call it a career. So it felt like something similar to that, where it's like his neck injuries are now at the point where he like literally you can't feel body parts and like you can't play, like you need to retire. So I thought that the entire game, and then I come to find out, no, it was an ACL tear. He tore it when he tried to boot. He scrambled right, and Lawrence Cager was in his way, and he got spooked by Lawrence Cager, tried to make a cut in his knee buckle. And then he was testing it on the sideline, and he's getting questioned, like, are you okay? Are you sure? And he's like, yeah, I can go back and I can play. And it's like, no, you can't. You literally tore your ACL. So, and I really thought, a lot of things were aligning with how they went against the Cardinals, right? We're down big at halftime. The offense looks like kind of shitty in the first half, but maybe we go on another tear and have another big comeback in the second half. It felt like that was almost the feeling in that first quarter when it was like, man, we're getting smoked. We're getting steamrolled. So I still had that in the back of my head. I was like, this is kind of just like the Cardinals game. It's just going to take us a half to like click. We just fucking suck in the first half. And then he went down, and I was like, well, nah, okay. Now we have Tommy DeVito. Sweet. DeVito's final stat line isn't horrendous. I mean, 15 of 20, 175 yards. He did throw the one touchdown to Wandale, but he just had those two awful picks. It was the first interception thrown by a Giants QB since October 2nd. That was the Seahawks game. There were 131 consecutive passes without interception. So quarterback play, not great, but not maybe not severely costing you the game. It still cost us some games with some questionable decisions. But DeVito also ran for 17 yards on 4 carries. I think that might have been overlooked in preseason, that he is kind of mobile. He can evade the rush. The problem with him is that he might be too quick to pull the ball down and scramble. And much like Daniel Jones was doing, I think, at the beginning of the season, as soon as he pulls the ball down, he's looking down, as in he's looking to run, and he's not looking downfield to someone who might be getting open. And he missed a lot of open receivers. So progress, I guess. I mean, he's better than he was against the Jets. I still, I think there are a lot of people that think that he's still, like, they can't imagine him being the starter for the rest of the season because Tyrod went on IR. Jones is out for the season, so they have Matt Barkley from the practice squad. It's like, are you getting excited about that? I don't know. And then I think they just signed Jacob Eason, who maybe played for the Colts or was the Patriots. I don't know. I think he's Tony Eason's kid, right? Went to Washington. So I don't know. Saquon Barkley rushed for team high 90 yards on 16 carries, caught 3 passes, 23 yards, 113 scrimmage yards. He has at least 98 scrimmage yards in each of the 4 games he's played since missing 3 with a sprained ankle. So Saquon's kind of the, I guess, lone bright spot, right? Mr. Dependable. And it's it's just like, I don't know. It's a head scratcher that we didn't come out and just pound the rock. 3 passes on the first drive. Like, what? Like, their run defense stinks, dude. Just run the ball. So, and I think that's, I don't know. Jones missing Hyatt down the deep left. If he just throws it like a yard or two towards the field, that's the touchdown. There are opportunities, but yeah. Giants have scored fewer than 20 points in 8 or 9 games this season and 10 or fewer in 5 of them. Oh my God. We're last in scoring offense and have the worst point differential in the friggin' league. We've been outscored 125-42 in the first half. So yeah. So that's the Giants-Raiders game.